Where do you see yourself going from here?
Where do I see myself going? Well, I've come a long way. I've come a really, really long way compared to how I was 18 months, 2 years ago. Where do I go from here? I'd like to think that I can get my strength back fully. I'd like to think that I can not worry so much about what's going to happen in the future and live more for today and stop thinking about the future, which is a big concern for me. Not so much for me personally, but for Julie and other things. And I'd hate to think that she'll be left on her own, you know. But I don't think I'm going to go that way. I think I'm overcoming this cancer, both physically and mentally.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Are you making any plans for the future? Anything coming up?
Well, we're hoping to sell our bungalow, and we're hoping to move to another place. In fact, we've got an offer been put in, but I'm not accepting it. And we're hoping, what I would like really, trouble is she's going to see this, but yeah, I tell you what, love, I want to take you around the world again. We've been around once, we did a round the world trip, I'd like to do that again.
Maybe you go the other way this time.
Go the other way, yeah, yeah, and probably take a little bit longer as well. That's what I want to do, yeah.
Well, it's good to have targets, isn't it?
Yeah.
And good to have objectives. Let's have a think now from the perspective of somebody watching this who's at the beginning of their cancer journey. Is there anything you'd want to say to them, or any tips or advice?
It's very difficult, really. Cancer is a terrible, terrible disease. It's a rotten disease, and there's no easy way of saying it's going to be a good trip, because it's not. It's a difficult trip, both physically and mentally. But at the end of the day, there is light at the end of that tunnel. Providing you set your mind out to beat it. I was not going to let it beat me, but I had a lot of help along the way to beat it. I couldn't do it on my own. I needed help, and I would advise anybody that's going to go through this, who's just been diagnosed, for instance, to seek out help as much as they can and not try to take it on their shoulders themselves. That's the only bit of advice I can give.
Well, I think that's a key point, and I support that 100%. So I want to thank you today on behalf of myself, Heather, and the viewers for coming and sharing your story. I personally find it a very inspirational story, not just the cancer, but how it's affected you physically, and then how to fight that in a way and overcome those obstacles. Those are all challenges that you've met, and you've improved, like you've said, you know, you've improved an awful lot along the way over that period of 2 to 3 years. So I'm sure viewers will find that an inspirational account to hear.
Well, I hope they do. I mean, I hope that they can get some benefit from what I've said, but that's up to them.
Thanks for coming in today.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Thank you.